Random thought. Do you think in today's world we're just a little too sensitive and too soft, especially when it comes to athletes? And reason why I'm bringing this up, so I'm a Longhorn fan, and we are not looking good whatsoever. And we lost to Iowa State last week.
Mm-hmm. Iowa State's been good recently, though, so I mean that's not too bad.
I'm not hating on Iowa State, but we're just playing terrible. And so we just been losing a lot of games, and it's always like in the second half we start out great, second half we just go to crap. Mm-hmm. And so on the bus ride back, I guess the players are on the bus and kind of laughing, whatever, laughing and joking like you probably do on the bus after you won the game. But this is like a consecutive loss, right? And so the defensive line coach, Bo Davis, just cursed those players out on the team bus. And he just let them have it, right? Like, hey, you think this is a game? He was yelling like, I got my ass kicked out there and all this other stuff. Now, how do we know this? A player recorded it.
Of course.
And then, of course, it leaked and went viral. But so many of these...
It didn't leak. He put it
parents,
out. Go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of these parents, all these people are like, saying the coach was wrong to be yelling at them like that. And I'm like, I remember coaches in Pee Wee, Pop Warner, grabbed me by the face mask and like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that's just how they coached. But do you think we're getting a little too soft?
Look, man, we need Denzel in, what was that movie?
Remember the Titans?
Remember the Titans. Where's your mama? And where's your daddy? No. I'm your daddy. Let me tell you something. Are they too soft? Yes. And why? Because everybody's in their feelings, right? We're seeing what happens after you give kids participation trophies, okay? This is the result of the participation trophy. Those kids are now playing college ball. Mm-hmm. They think we lost, so what? So this is what this is. All right, maybe a little extreme, but I'm just saying. This is when people were talking about the participation trophy, it shouldn't be, oh, well, here, you get one just for winning this. No, just a play. No. You win. What Hermed would say, you play to win the game.
Well, but you figure an hour and a half down 35 South, are some other players who grew up with that same participation trophy mindset, and UTSA is 10-0. UTSA football undefeated. Remember when we were there, they had the T-shirts before there was no football team back then.
Right.
But UTSA football is still undefeated. Well, they're undefeated right now. But this concept that, you can't, especially in the sports world, you can't yell and motivate your players is crazy. And then I know you follow a lot of the UFC and things like that. And I forget the girl's name, but there's this viral video of her trainer like going into the corner and really just like going off on her because he's like, what are you doing? This is not what we like. You need to do this. In second inning or inning. Well,
we know you definitely don't watch UFC now.
Yeah.
If we didn't know before, we know this now.
At the end of the second round,
he comes touchdown in the second inning.
At the end of the second round, he comes in. He's like, what are you doing? Like, what do you? But I mean, that's what she hired him to do. And a lot of people are saying that it was wrong for him to talk to her that way. She paid him to motivate her, right? But I think it's the woke mob, right? It's the woke mentality. I think it's what it is that everybody is just a little too sensitive about everything and need to get out of their feels a little bit.
And here's the thing, especially in the sport where you're going out there, you're putting this on the line. And, I side with the players a lot of times, especially when it comes down to college football, the amount of money that was made and they're playing for free. And like, well, they get an education. No, y'all are pushing them through. Trust me. We've been around some of these players. They've definitely not been getting any kind of education, okay? So let's be realistic about it. You have a professional league where the players aren't getting paid. At least legally. So, they're getting yelled at. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Brian Kelly, coach of my Notre Dame Fighting Irish, top 10 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, doing a lot better than your Texas Longhorns, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. He took a lot of flack for years. And he's finally calmed down some because I remember when the announcers like, oh, Brian Kelly's turning different colors again. Quarterback throws an incomplete pass. He comes back to the sideline and he's getting reamed. And this is at the Catholic school. So it's like, they're like, well, it just doesn't look good because, he's cursing players out on the sideline. It's football. The Lord will forgive him. Tomorrow is Sunday. He'll be all right.
That's what Sunday's for. Hey, God, my bad. But we won. We got that done.
and practice is Monday, so I'm about to do this again. So forgive me today. I'll see you next week.
Forgive me in advance.
Because I know what I'm about to do.
Do you just email your confessions? That way you don't even have to make it to the booth. Just email it to the priest.
He'll just come in with a sheet. All right, yeah. So, Mr. Coach Kelly, we need you to say 500 Hail Marys.
Yes, I did do all these things, Father, and I apologize, but how much revenue did I bring in this weekend? You're welcome.
You know what? Forgiven. Give me back. Yeah. You don't need to do any Hail Marys.
You don't need to do Hail Marys. You good. You good. Pound it up.
Winning solves everything. And I remember you guys had a big deal when Charlie Strong came and you had a lot of players who felt entitled, and so he benched a lot of them, got rid of them, kicked them off the team, and people gave him hell for it, but it's like, the sense of entitlement has to stop. And at some point, you've got to earn what you do. Think about it. You and I were coming up, and we didn't get to this level because somebody just gave it to us, right?
Right.
We sat, we observed, we learned, and we put into action the things that we learned. There are people who come in nowadays and, 10 minutes in, they're like, all right, I'm ready for the next level. No, you're not. You're not even ready for this one. So
right.
That's the problem here. And if you're not willing to go and put in the work, it's like instead of going to the gym and putting in the hard work to get you a nice, firm body and backside, you go, you know what, though? I got a couple $1,000s stashed away. This will be a lot easier. And I can still eat what I want.
There's a lot of people want the easy route, right? Especially a lot of the, I'd say the people that got out of college in the last 3 to 4 years. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that feel like they should be director and VPs by now.
Yes. And because you see them more than I do.
Yeah, and then the ones that graduated, a year ago, their first, how do I move up? Well, get good at this first.
Yeah.
And master this, and then add something to the table. That's how you get. It's not a timeline that, after you've been here 12 months, then I'll promote you to this. And after you've been here 6 months after that role, you get promoted to this. It doesn't work that way. But a lot of people don't want to do all the hard work. But, you're right. Winning solves a lot of your problems. But with these athletes, especially at the University of Texas, it's disappointing that everybody thinks this coach is wrong for yelling and motivating. If you just lost, right? If I lose, I don't want to be on the bus joking and laughing, having fun. Losing sucks.
I think you said this before. Sprinkles off for winners, right? I think that was a Progressive commercial.
Coffees
Sprinkles
for closers.
Off for winners.
No, coffees for closers.
Coffees for closers. Yes. And you know what? You know what else? Jokes and laughter are for winners. If you lost that football game, you suck your ass all the way back on that bus. You understand me? When you get home, you can laugh all you want.
Yeah. If the quarterly ratings comes out and your station went from number 2 to number 20, you're not going to be like, oh, this is hilarious, guys. We're down. Who wants drinks?
Let's go to happy hour. Let's celebrate.
Yeah. You're like, hey, guys, if we don't get this together, we're all going to get fired. Let's go. From now on, I'm your daddy.
I got one kid. I don't need any more. I don't even let my wife call me daddy anymore. Stop it. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and heard two people having crazy conversations?
Oh, just wild and crazy stuff. Yeah, that's us. We've been doing this since college, man.
Yes, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast, episode 62. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
Lots of comments have come in, especially on our Married at First Sight recaps. Come to find out, we actually have 2 more episodes to go. Well, technically, I think it'll make it 3 because the reunion I found out is 2 parts. So we've got this week, next week, and then of course I think the Where Are They Now, unless the Where Are They Now is in either way, we got at least 2 weeks more to go on this. So make sure if you haven't checked it out, do check it out. We do post that Wednesday night, so if you wake up Thursday morning, you can check it out. And you find out this bet that Terrell kind of had me, he taught me into something. I'm not going to tell you about it because
I'm still disappointed because after doing some research, I think the couple that I had to suffer through I swore would not work out.
Doesn't matter. They
said yes, but now they're not together.
You said decision.
I called it.
It doesn't matter.
I know, but it's just frustrating that that's where we are. So
that I was right. I know. Go ahead, say it.
Nope. Hard pass.
Look, so funny thing is, we're recording this on Sunday, right? Our normal Sunday. I was in Charleston yesterday, and I got to play golf with my old boss, baseman, and also Don, who Don Champagne's been a big advocate for Regular Guys Random Thoughts from the very beginning, and something popped up about I think when did Kansas lose to Kansas beat Texas, right? And when Texas came up, just the name Texas, he goes, every time I hear Texas, I think Texas is going to Texas, Texas is going to Florida, Texas is going to Flexus. Which brings me to say, what stupid shit did Ted Cruz do this week?
Well, Ted Cruz, not only does he not care about his constituents and goes to Cancun where we're all freezing, but now he's attacking children's characters. Ted Cruz has an issue with Big Bird. So, Big Bird...
Is he too tall?
Yeah. They have the similar noses, and Ted doesn't like that, I guess.
Size doesn't matter, right?
So apparently, Big Bird tweeted this week that he was happy to receive his COVID-19 vaccine. He says, my wing is a little bit sore, but it was a way to encourage kids to go get their vaccines because the government rolled out that ages 5 through 11 are now eligible to get the vaccine. So it was a way to motivate kids. And Sesame Street has been doing this forever, right? Yeah. Mr. Rogers used to do these things. Sesame Street's been doing it forever. And so Ted Cruz retweets and calls this propaganda, government propaganda for your children, being mad about this deal. And I'm like, what 5-year-old is really paying attention to Twitter? Calm it down. But to call this government propaganda for your children is just ridiculous. But we're talking about Ted Cruz, and ridiculous is his thing. I just can't believe he gets to that level, and I really want to keep talking about him every week, as we have been, because I need people to remember this in 2022 when we have to vote. We need to vote Ted Cruz out.
And Ted Cruz probably was upset when, they came out saying Ernie and Bert were, more than just roommates. Because growing up, we just knew Ernie and Bert. They were friends, right? He's like, why can't we just leave it that way? Why do we have to tell them? I hate when we politicize so many things, knowing that everything doesn't have to be political. But that's how you rile up the base, and that's exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's doing in that sense. And as much as I call Ted Cruz an idiot, and I think he says a lot of stupid shit, he knows exactly what he's doing, in the sense of trying to rile up the base and stick with that. And it's a dangerous place in which we've come to, and we came from. And you can see it if you look back now, just like we saw the participation trophy and we've seen the results of it. The Trump era has been the result of what we saw with Sarah Palin. And before that, we saw with George Bush and the Karl Rove tactics. So we've seen this escalation. And where do we go next? I'm very afraid for it. And because I think regardless of the crazy things that you and I, and it's crazy to us, and it's crazy to people who think like us, that Ted Cruz is saying. However, to the base, he is hitting the nail on the head. He is speaking nothing but the truth. Preach, preacher. He's got this Kirk Franklin going. And so, in that case, I think what's going to happen is Texas is going to Texas. Texas go to Florida, and Texas go to Flexus, and Ted Cruz will be back in office 2022. And it'll be all Texas's fault when we have to deal with him in the 2024 presidential election. So,
yeah, it's painful, but we'll have to see what happens in the 2024 election and see who it is, because we already know he's scared of Donald Trump. So if Trump runs again, then what? But apparently, I think Trump is still president.
Can I be your vice president?
Right. Isn't he still president right now?
Yes, according to some people.
Yeah. What's the story that got submitted about that?
So there's this story that came in, right? We got this at rgrtpod@gmail.com about a history teacher who told students that Donald Trump is still president, and she kept repeating, COVID-related conspiracy theories, and of course, as a result, she loses her job. She's in California, Southern California, middle school, teaching these kids and bringing this. I'm not understanding, but then again, I can't say that. Because we have had the history books have been rewritten enough times, and so she's just rewriting the current news. She's like, you know what? The hell with rewriting history. We're gonna rewrite what's happening now. I can't imagine if I'm a parent and they come home tell me Miss So and So in our history class says that Donald Trump is still president. First of all, why are you talking politics with my kid? We're not talking history. You're talking current. Why?
Yes. I mean, that's the thing that just blows my mind about where we are, right? That we're in a place right now when it comes to politics. It's not about fact. It's not about data. It's just about whatever you say works, right? You used to think that people were informed and smart. And with all the access, I think people were a lot smarter and could use deductive reasoning a lot better before the internet. Since the internet and social media, I think people are just whatever's out there they believe. You have these people that congregated in Dallas waiting for JFK Jr. to come back to life and then run as vice president to Donald Trump. It's just crazy that some people actually believe it. And they were out there waiting for it. Like literally camped out waiting for JFK Jr. to appear over by the grassy knoll. Where he was shot, waiting for him I'm just like, you really think that's a thing? And then if you're a middle school teacher, why are these teachers, whatever your agenda is, whether it's conservative or liberal, why are you putting that on these kids? Let them figure it out on their own. It's like and it's funny, I think about religion, right? You have, the Bible says, raise up a child in the way they should go and they will not depart. In other words, indoctrinate your child with this belief so they won't believe anything else, rather than let them grow up on their own and choose for themselves. Don't want to be Buddhist, don't want to be Christian, don't want to be atheist. You have that right, right? But you don't want to do that. But that's your child, and I think you can do that as a parent. But these teachers, whatever your viewpoint is, why are you sharing that?
Well, here's the other part too. I mean, because in this day and age, you should know that things are being recorded, because there's always that one child in the class that's going to disagree with you and probably knows a little bit more than you. And you're like, you listen here, you little bastard. No, you sit there, you be quiet. So that child goes, okay, record. And while this teacher is up here saying stuff like, Hunter Biden is doing deals with China and Ukraine where he was funneling money illegally. That's one of the things she said. It was on a 7-minute recording, right? Something else she also said, he also had child pornography on his laptop and he was having sexual intercourse with his own niece. First of all, why are you telling my middle schooler that? What is wrong with people? Because this is what obviously we know what news she watches, where she gets her news from, which side of the bed she wakes up on. Obviously everything's on the right. The extreme right. Only makes right turns to go to work.
Yeah.
Only makes right turns to go home. I'm just saying, but why are you putting this on the kids? I don't
100%. I think if you are an educator of any kind, your opinion should be your opinion that you keep to yourself. Teach what's in the books, and as well, then that goes into the whole critical race theory thing So if I say teach what's in the book, it's the book that they changed, that they edited, or the real
which book are we
history
talking
book.
about?
So I just say keep your opinion to yourself, no matter who you vote for. If you're liberal, you're conservative, you love Trump, you love Biden, whatever. I don't need you in any classroom, wearing a Let's Go Brandon t-shirt to a bunch of your seniors or whatever. Just stop it. Keep your opinion to yourself on whatever you feel. Just teach. And that's it. And I'm not a teacher, so I don't know how you do that, but these teachers are getting crazy.
And save that sex conversation for the teacher's lounge. Do not bring that shit into the classroom talking about he had child pornography on there. Don't do that.
Well, it blows my mind. There was one that came up where this soccer coach, apparently she had a relationship, and I believe with a female student, while she was in middle school and then through high school. It's like, how do you get to this point and ruin your life over a middle school or high school kid? I just don't get it.
Kids are annoying. Why the hell are you trying to have a relationship with a kid in the first place if you're an adult?
We know men are freaking psychos, right? So when it comes to a male teacher doing it, it's odd. It blows my mind when it's like a female teacher that is doing this and married with a family and gets caught with a 16-year-old. And I'm like, why would you ruin your whole life for this?
Because the husband is going for a good 2 minutes.
Well, maybe that husband needs to focus on pleasing his partner and don't release any of that semen. According to, I love this story, and I love the fact that this got sent to me because everybody knows I have no idea who a lot of artists are. I mean, I just heard who Travis Scott was a week ago. But really? Kevin Gates apparently is this rapper, and he's been, I love this name that he's been given. He's been branded anti-ejaculator after saying men shouldn't finish during sex.
It's a race, goddammit.
Yeah.
First to finish wins.
Yeah, and some people say it's a marathon, not a sprint. Not when it comes to sex. We're sprinting. So he was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, which I have no idea what that is. I'm not going to listen to it.
So that's with Gilly the Kid and Wallow. Wallow is a real dope dude. Met him when he first got out of prison. But their podcast is amazing. $1 Million Worth of Game. Amazing podcast.
Take your word for it. But the rapper said the aim of sex for men should be to please their partner, and that not finishing can even have healing qualities to the body. And so he says, another thing I was telling you that's really healing to your body, and it's going to sound crazy, but it's semen retention, not releasing no semen. Your intention should be to please your partner and don't release those semen. If you feel you're about to release, stop. And it's just going to heal your central nervous system and everything. It'll heal your brain. Wow.
Yeah.
That's all I can say was wow.
I will say this. I was with him when he said the aim of sex for men should be to please their partner.
Agree.
That's where we stop, though. This whole not finishing thing. I don't get that. But Kevin Gates is a strange dude anyway. Always has been. He does. And you just never know what mood you're gonna get with him. I've never had the opportunity to interview him, but I know different people who have. Some who've had good interviews with him. Some who was like, yeah, that was the hardest interview I've ever done in my life. Because he is just that kind of guy, right? And he's strange guy. Does his thing, very private. Obviously not as private as he used to be because he's talking about this and anti-ejaculating and whatnot. But I don't know. I'd be interested to find out where he actually got this train of thought from, and what book did he read this in? What person did he hear say this? Was he talking to Kanye West? And because Kanye hears something and just spits it right back out as fact. Where did this come from? What doctor told you this is healing for you? What witch doctor lied to you? Did you go see a therapist?
You need to.
And did that person just actually hypnotize you to believe this thing?
Because if that's the case, everybody walking around with blue balls are the healthiest, smartest people that we have on our society. So, false. But what if that could be true? I mean, let's just say if all the women said right now, we're not having sex with anybody until we cure X, till we get rid of world hunger. No one's having an orgasm by any of us until world hunger is fixed. These dudes with all this built up tension would get together and figure it out. So maybe we should do that for the infrastructure bill. None of those congressmen and women can have an orgasm until we finalize this infrastructure bill and everybody agrees on it without having to get death threats.
I will say this: if women ever decide to band together and say that, I say just give me 24-hour notice so I can go ahead and buy stock in lotion. That shit's gonna shoot through the roof. Lotion and tissue.
Well, if they came out and said starting Monday, 11:15, no one is sleeping with anybody because of X, today's gonna be a very busy day for a lot of people. Stores are closed, malls empty, restaurants, everything's shutting down.
Everybody's at home getting it in because tomorrow is going to be a shortage. It's going to be a shortage fast.
It'll be like the toilet paper shortage. It's just everybody's scrambling.
There's going to be no ass allowed anywhere. Oh, my God. Look, before we get out of here, I saw this in the spirit of the holidays, you know, your favorite time of year. There was this... right here in the county that I'm in right now, Cobb County, Georgia, which whenever I hear Cobb County, I think of the big boss man from, remember WWF? Big boss man from Cobb County, Georgia. Well, there was a judge who issued an order banning Elf on the Shelf. And basically he was saying it's... He's doing it due to posing a risk to the emotional health and well-being of Cobb County's young children. He says, inexplicably, elves sometimes move and don't move overnight. When these elves do not move, it leaves our children of tender years in states of extreme emotional distress. So now he put this out in a tweet. He had the order and he put it out in a tweet, and he also tweeted that his order was a gift to tired parents. So obviously this is a gag, right? I just love the fact that somebody in a very serious position just goes, obviously he's sitting around at the country club and somebody's like, man, I get so tired of moving that damn Elf on the Shelf. Got to find different places to put it, different positions to put it in and whatnot. And he's like, you know what? I got you covered.
It's so funny how these things take off, right?
Yeah.
And become a thing that everybody does and everybody follows it. And then you're going to see on social media over the next month or so, all these pictures of what parents are doing with the Elf on the Shelf. You know me, I'm not a Christmas fan. I think it's dumb, but whatever you want to do to lie to your kids, that's fine. How's that not traumatizing? I mean, just think about it. We're going to tell children that you got to be good because Santa Claus watching you. So Santa's a stalker. Then you got to tell kid that there's this doll that's living in your house that's actually alive. But then when they see it, it's dead. So I think of Poltergeist, right? So there's a little...
We've seen Toy Story. Of course they believe it.
Yeah, so you got a doll that's alive, that's doing all kind of mayhem in the house. Just be honest with kids and just say, hey, look, me and your dad are going to go buy you a bunch of stuff and put it under the tree. There's no Santa. So let's just have fun with it. Why don't we just tell them? So are you going to do Elf on the Shelf?
No. But that's what my mom did. My mom did that to me. She's like, look, Santa didn't buy you these gifts. I did.
Yeah. There's nobody going to sneak. No one's going to break in and enter our home through the chimney and the fireplace. And
I grew up in the Caribbean. We had no chimney or fireplace.
Yeah, I don't have a fireplace either. But I'm just saying, like, we tell kids these things like it's a... I'm just like, why lie to them? And then we tell them to grow up and be honest and not lie to us as parents. Please.
Yeah. You know, you do have a point there.
I'm saying, this is why I just don't like...
The Grinch has a point.
Yeah, this is why I don't like Christmas. It's a whole big lie and scam that parents do to kids. And they teach kids that you should be honest and not lie to me. But guess what? There's a big fat white man that's about to go all over the world dropping off gifts into people's homes and eating cookies and milk. And there's this little elf for the next 30 days is going to be running amok every day. Come on, just be honest. Save yourself the time.
So what did parents do last year? Did you tell them that, Santa couldn't come because of, if we're quarantining, right? And we're social distancing, was it safe for Santa to come down the chimney, really? Was it safe for him to come into the house? Was it safe to leave him cookies? And if he's touching everybody else's cookies, is he bringing somebody else's heebie-jeebies in your house? These are things we got to really think about now. Or is Santa just going to mail them out now and we can have it delivered by UPS?
No, Santa had a mask on. And then he wiped everything down with Clorox wipes before he left.
Oh, so we're leaving milk, cookies, and wipes for Santa now.
Santa has his own wipes. They're special wipes from the North Pole that can clean and kill anything. So that's where we got the vaccine from. See, Pfizer, what they did was...
I thought it was the Johnson & Johnson, that one shot, one call, that's all. We just call Santa. He'll take care of it.
Santa's a businessman. He hooked up all three of them, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer. He gets a cut because he was like, look, I got the vaccine here at North Pole. On my way when I'm dropping off presents, we're going to have a meeting and get it hooked up. And then what happened? All of a sudden, February, March, everybody can get the pokey.
Hey, so did Santa wipe down extra the places where he knew the kids were bad, or did he just skip their house completely?
No. I think the ones where the kids are bad, he didn't wipe anything off. He was just like, let's just see what happens.
Let's shake some of this other stuff I wiped down from some of the other houses over here.
Yeah.
Because one for the kid that's bad and a couple more for the parents who didn't discipline this goddamn child.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I just say this is why I don't like Christmas. It's all a big lie. And everybody's going to say, well, it's not about Santa. Jesus is the reason for the season. Jesus wasn't born December 25th, if there was a Jesus. Wasn't born December 25th. So why are we lying to these kids? Just say, hey, we're going to decorate because it's pretty. We want the lights on outside because we want to show our neighbors how badass we are decorating our house. And then I'm going to buy you a bunch of stuff. Tell me what you want. Make a list. It ain't going to Santa. It's coming to me. And put it under the deal and under the tree. There's even apps where you can track where Santa's at. Yeah. And so you got parents doing that with their kids. You have people that actually respond to letters that people write to Santa. And people actually
from the North Pole
lying. Spreading the big lies. That's why I don't like Christmas. It's a big lie in the facade. And all you parents that participate in this whole Santa Claus lie stuff, you're guilty. And you're being a hypocrite because you want your kid to be honest with you, but you're lying to them.
When's the last time you read the Bible? Because obviously you didn't notice that in the Bible, right? Because Jesus is the reason for the season. And in the Bible, there were 3 wise men, Mary, Joseph, and Santa.
Don't even get me started with Mary, miraculous inception. Is that what we call it?
Me too.
Is that what we call it? Miraculous inception? Right. Somebody and
I've never done this before.
Give it up to Joseph to being the best stepdad on earth ever. Gets no credit for being an awesome stepdad. Put up with someone else's baby. Didn't complain once.
If there's a hell, we're definitely going to it for this podcast. So on that note, remember to check out our audio episodes every Monday. The video episodes drop on Tuesday on YouTube, and on Wednesdays, at least 2 more weeks, we've got the Married at First Sight recaps. Check them out. Make sure you spread the word. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend so we can keep this going. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm Just Terrell.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Send in some of your random thoughts and some of your bullshit. We'll talk about it on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.